Good morning, friends, and welcome to this Linux Server Administration first class, actually. Okay, so as you know, 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. we have dedicated for the Linux Server Administration classes. And in this particular series, this is our first session. Okay, and for next 35 to 40 days, at this time, we'll just continue with the Linux Server Administration only. People who are coming in AWS plus Linux package, for them, this is the Linux administration, and people who are coming in CCNA plus Linux package, for them also, this is the same Linux course. Linux is common in both the package. So if you're interested in, or if you're coming in the AWS place, Linux, still it is same. If you're coming in CCNA plus Linux, still it is same. Okay. So Linux server administration is literally mandatory if you're planning to move into the cloud computing or DevOps or security career, or if you're planning to move into the networking side, again, into like cyber security and all the other things, again, Linux server administration is mandatory for you, my friend. Okay. So let us try to focus more on the Linux server operating system and Linux server administration, and let us see what exactly we can learn and how it is shaping our careers actually. Done. The rules remain same here, friends. Chat box is always open for you. Whenever there is a doubt, feel free to send a question in the chat box so that I can address your question. And if you want to talk to me directly at the end of the session, you can simply unmute yourself and you can talk to me directly. Okay. So let me just send a message in chat box so that everyone can see it. I just said RHEL, Red Hat Enterprise Linux. Okay, so hopefully you can see the message. So whenever you have any doubt here, friends, just send the question in your chat box. Try to keep the chat box as busy as possible. Okay, done. Now let us try to explore what exactly is this Linux server administration. Now, to know what is this Linux server administration, we just need to know actually what is our operating system is. Linux server is indeed a operating system, right? So if you just forgot about especially the Linux server, if you just focus on the operating system part, what exactly is the operating system, where we use the operating system? Now let us see where we use the OS actually. See, we are using mobile phone, laptops and desktops every day. Can we use a mobile phone or a laptop or a desktop without an operating system? Answer is no. In our mobile phone, we have Android OS, or if you're going with Apple phones, then you have iOS. In our laptops and desktops, we have probably Windows 10 and Windows 11. So literally, without the operating system, our hardware is a dummy device. We cannot use our hardware. I repeat, without operating system, we simply cannot use our hardware. So literally, every device, we need a operating system. Now, forget about mobile phones and laptops and desktops. Okay, these are the very common devices we use. Now, if you go to a computer network, if you say some networking devices like servers, routers, switches, firewalls, storage devices, everywhere there is an operating system. If you go and see, let's say a device like a MRI scan machine, there is an operating system there. In a mobile phone, there is an operating system. So literally, we have operating systems available everywhere. Without operating system, a hardware is not usable. Okay, there are certain hardwares where there is no operating system. It is just a plug and play device. Okay, so we cannot configure anything in that particular device. But if you want to configure something in a device, if you want to use the device in more, in much better way, if you want to utilize the device in much better way, if you want to provide better security, then you have to use the operating system in that particular device for sure. Okay. So as of now, we are connected to this particular session through a Zoom meeting, right? Maybe you're using a mobile phone or a laptop or a desktop. We certainly have a operating system here. We are connected to Zoom. It's an application. The application is running again on your operating system. So as of now, there are different types of operating systems involved in this particular session. Maybe someone is using an Android OS, someone is using Windows 10, someone is using Windows 11, or someone is using even the Linux operating system. So literally, without operating system, the machines will not work. Without operating system, the internet will not work. Okay, that is the operating system we have. Now, let us try to see more about this operating system in more technical way. Now, you see the definition most of the time, actually, whenever you go through some, definition of operating system, you will see this definition for sure. What it says, operating system is an interface between a user and a hardware, isn't it? This is a very common definition you see everywhere. So who is the user here? User is you and me. What is the hardware here? The hardware is what we are using. It can be a mobile phone, it can be a laptop, it can be a server, right? Or it can be some other device there. So as a user, whenever I'm interacting with the hardware, I'm using a operating system there. There are certain operating system where we need to use manually. There are certain operating system which are working automatically for me. Like for example, if I go with a mobile phone, I'm not using anything in the operating system manually there, right? I'm just using the application there. I'm making a call by using application. I'm, sending a message by using application, right? I'm simply, downloading, I'm playing a game by using application. So in a mobile phone, we're not using the operating system manually. But coming to our laptop, we have to use the operating system. We should know how to use it. Like you're creating a document. So you should know where exactly the document can be created or how it can be created, where it can be stored, how it can be opened, how it can be deleted. So we should know how it should be used. Okay. Now, in this similar way here, my friend, if your hardware is a server hardware and if your operating system is a server operating system, then certainly we have to take some training, some official training we have to take so that, we can understand how we can use that particular server hardware. This is the training we are taking that for that particular purpose only. We are using a server operating system in a server hardware. So we should know what is a server operating system and how the server operating system is used and how the server operating system can be managed. So there are different types of operating systems available. Okay. But every operating system use is same. It is a interface between a user and a hardware. If you remove the operating system, then we cannot use a hardware. Hardware is just a dummy device. We cannot use any hardware without the operating system. Okay, there are some technical things here, like, hardware can only understand the machine language. Remember zeros and ones? Does it make any sense to you and me? Zeros and ones, binaries. We can understand English, Hindi, Telugu, Marathi, Gujarati, French. We can understand all these languages, right? But can we understand zeros and ones here? Obviously, no. Zeros and ones are binary numbers, actually, my friend. Isn't it? Zeros and ones are binary language, binary numbers. So it is a language of your operating system. Operating system can understand only zeros and ones. Now, how these zeros and ones are working, we will see this in some other session actually. But as of now, operating system works only in zeros and ones. Okay. Now, let us try to understand some of the most important functions or functionalities of our operating system. What exactly they will do for us. Okay. So when you go with this operating system performs tasks like, let me just highlight few things here so that you can understand things clearly. See, data management. There is some data in our server. There is some data in our computer. So how to open that particular file? Your file can be a document. It can be a text file. It can be an audio file. It can be a video file. It can be a PPT. It can be an Excel file. There are different types of files available, right? So how we know which file is this? Actually, operating system will help us in knowing which file is this actually. So whenever you're storing any data on a particular machine, operating system will identify the type of that particular file. Okay. And in case if you want to take the backup of that particular file, then operating system will help you in taking the backup. Okay. But when you talk about a server operating system, actually there are two types of operating systems. One is a client operating system, one is a server operating system. Client operating system is a OS that we use in laptops and desktops, like Windows 10 and Windows 11 is the best example of client operating system. Okay. But coming to the server operating system, In server operating system, the major function of the server operating system is to run the applications. Okay, so these are some of the functionalities of every operating system. So we should know how we can take backup. We should know how we can, process our different things which are running inside the operating system. We should know how to provide security. We should know how to manage our resources. We should know how to provide some networking services there. We should know how to monitor the, performance of our machine. We should know how to run the applications. These are the things we should know as an administrator. When I say operating system will help us in taking the backup of our data, means we should know how to take the backup. We should know the process of taking the backup. Process of taking the backup. When I say operating system will help us in running the application, here we should know how we can prepare our operating system to run a particular application. We should know all these options so that we can manage a operating system well. And if you're able to manage your operating system well, you can literally manage any application running on that particular operating system. Okay, now let me just go to a few other things so that you can understand the use of operating system in much better way. This particular image should be permanently there with us. Whenever we think about a operating system, this particular image should come. See, this layer is your operating system layer, right? It can be Windows Server operating system or it can be Linux Server operating system. See, in Windows Server, there are different flavors available. There are different versions available. So as in the Linux servers. In Linux server also, there are different versions available or different, distributions available like RHEL, that is Red Hat, or Ubuntu, or Debian, SUSE, Fedora, AWS, CentOS. Different, different types of Linux server distributions available. I'll come to it later, but as of now, it can be any Linux server operating system or it can be any Windows server operating system. Now, to run this Windows Server operating system or a Linux server operating system, we certainly need some hardware. See, when you talk about a server or when you talk about a laptop, you're talking about CPU, RAM, and storage. CPU is what? CPU is processor. RAM is your temporary memory. Storage is your permanent memory. Can we use a machine without having a CPU, RAM, or a storage? That's not possible, right? So first we have to take the hardware. On top of this hardware, we need to install the operating system. It can be Windows Server, it can be Linux operating system. But again, the big question here is why we are installing the operating system there. We are installing the operating system so that we can install our applications. Now, what are these applications? If I just name few applications here, let's say the application can be a web application, like a web server or a file server or a database server or a mail server or any gaming server, any banking server, etc. There are different types of application servers available. There are some hundreds of different applications available. For all these applications here, my friend, whether it is a web server or email server or a file server or whatever, for all these applications, the most common thing that we need is a operating system, a server operating system. Without having a server operating system, we cannot run the application. Today, in the year 2025, the technology is advanced a lot. After advancing so much also, there is no way actually where without using a operating system, we can install the application. Actually, there is no thought available in a way. No one is thinking like, can we run an application without an operating system? That's literally not possible. We need a hardware resources like CPU, RAM, storage. On top of these hardware resources, we need our server operating system, Linux or Windows. And on top of the server operating system, we need some applications. Or we are installing some applications. So literally everywhere we use our operating system. Okay, and to this application, you can see users are connected. Some hundreds and thousands or even lakhs and crores of users are connected to a particular application. See, what is the time now? As of now, the time is 7:20 a.m. Right? In India, it is 7:20 a.m. 17th March 2025 is the date. time is 7:20 a.m. Do you really think as of now only we 10 people are connected to this Zoom meeting? Obviously no, right? There will be some thousands of people connected to this particular Zoom meeting. So Zoom meeting is what? Zoom is an application. So where this application is running, it is running on a server operating system. I can guarantee you, my friend, Zoom meeting is running on the Linux server operating system only. If you go and see the use of Linux operating system over the internet, you can clearly see one thing, my friend, that is nearly 85 to 90% applications, I repeat, 85 to 90% applications on the internet that are running today, they are using the Linux server operating system. That's a very big number, right? It's not like 52% or 55%. If it is 51% also, there is majority. But I am saying approximately 85 to 90% applications that are running on the internet today, they are running on the Linux server operating system. This is such a big thing, my friend. Why they are running? Why companies are preferring the Linux server operating system compared to Windows? Say in this particular package, I'll be sharing the Windows videos also with you, right? I'm not trying to degrade anything. I'm just trying to present some facts for you. Okay. Why companies are preferring the Linux server operating system more compared to the Windows operating system? Let me just highlight two, 3 points here. I'll come to these points in more details in coming sessions. But as of now, I can say Linux server operating system provides better security. Linux server operating system provides very less to no virus. Linux server operating system is very lightweight. Lightweight means it can run on any hardware. Linux operating system, above all, Linux operating system is actually free operating system. Maybe I should not say above all actually, because every company is not trying to use something which is free. Companies actually look for better security, better performance, right? So if you just talk about security and performance here, Linux operating system is much better compared to the Windows operating system. Now in Linux, which version or which distribution we have to go with, again that's a different discussion. Again, that's a different discussion. For example, if I say, what is better, auto or a car? Very simple question. Is it auto or car? So most of the people will say car is better. Now we can have the discussion. Which car? Is it Alto? Is it Swift? Is it, I-20? Or is it, Thar? Or is it, some sedan or some, SUV? Let's say maybe Lamborghini, something like this, Audi. Which car is better? That's a different discussion. But when you talk about the differences between an auto and a car, then we will say car. And in car, which car is better? We can have a different discussion for that. Right? So here, what is better between Windows operating system and Linux operating system? Linux operating system is much better. And what is better in Linux? That we will see. But as of now, Linux operating system is used in majorly 90% of applications over the internet. Okay. Now, if it is used that much, 90%, why I have to learn the Windows servers? What is the need for me to learn the Windows servers? See, there are two types of networks we have here, friends. Try to understand this carefully. Very simple logic. There are two types of networks we have. One network is actually known as the internet, and the second network is actually known as intranet. Internet and intranet. Internet means a network which is for everyone, which is for public. Like I can access internet from my mobile phone, from my laptop, from my desktop. Do I need to take permission from anywhere? No, I just need to take the internet package or internet connection. That's it. Intranet means a company's network. Like for example, there is a company with the name, let's say, I'll just go with a company like, let's say, IBM. One of the very leading MNCs, right? If I talk about Hyderabad, a city like Hyderabad, from where I belongs, in Hyderabad, there is a IBM branch. Or let's say if I go with a company like Google, in Hyderabad, there is a Google branch. If I go with Amazon, there is Amazon branch. Okay. So for this particular company, let's say Google, if there are 20,000 people working in Google Hyderabad branch, I repeat, if there are 20,000 people working in Google Hyderabad branch, for this 20,000 people, they need to have some servers. See, when I say some, actually it will be some hundreds of servers will be available within the Google company, within the Google branch, which is there in Hyderabad. So this, let's say we have totally, I'm just taking a number here. Let's say we have totally 1200 servers there, where in the Google branch, which is there in Hyderabad. So this 1200 servers belongs only to the Google employees. As a internet user, I don't have any permission to connect to these Google servers, which are running within the Google company or which are running for the Google company. I don't have any permission there. Okay. Now the question here is 1200 servers which are running in the Google company, what sort of operating system they are using? Because like I said, without OS, we cannot use a hardware, and without OS, we cannot run the application. See, this is such a big part of our network, right? So the question here is this 1200 servers which are running in a Google company in one Hyderabad branch, what sort of operating system they are using? Now here they will go with Windows servers and Linux servers. Now, if I talk about percentage, remember in the percentage when we went with the internet, what we said, approximately 85% of servers are running on Linux. That is on the internet. But in the intranet, that is within the company, the percentage is a bit different. Let us say Windows is occupying around 40%, roughly 40%, and Linux is occupying around 60%. Now things have changed a bit here, right? Over the internet, market leader is what? The Linux operating system. But within the company, there is some competition here. There is some competition between Windows and Linux. You know why? What is the reason for competition between Windows and Linux in local area network or in intranet? The reason is there is something called AD, Active Directory. Active Directory is a feature that works in the Windows server, and Active Directory is a feature that is designed only for the intranet use, majorly the intranet use. So this Active Directory makes Windows servers very famous within the company. I'm not talking about internet here. Now I'm talking about my private network. So AD is a feature that is only possible in our Windows servers. And AD is a feature that manage our networks. So why there are 30 to 40% servers in our company which are working on the Windows servers? The main reason actually is AD. There can be some other reasons also. But the main reason is Windows Server operating system provides you a method called AD. It provides you a service called AD that is called Active Directory that makes Windows servers more famous. In Linux operating system, there is no AD. Windows is a proprietary for this Active Directory. They are the owners of this particular Active Directory anyway. It is possible only in the Windows operating system. This makes it more famous within the local area network compared to the internet. See, today, if you go and see any administrator resume or CV, whatever you call it as, who is having around 4-5 years of experience in the IT industry, maybe that person is a cloud administrator or a network administrator, DevOps administrator, cyber security, or let's say ethical hacker. These are like, major things, right? If you go and see the administrator resume who is there in this field for last 4 years or 5 years, one of the things you will definitely see in that person's resume is this AD, Active Directory. This is such a big part of our computer networks, my friend. Not only in 2025, if you go back in 1990s, from late 1990s till today, AD is one of the most important part of our computer networks. So when I share the Windows Server Administration videos there, my major focus in this Windows Server Administration videos will be on Active Directory only. So AD will help you in getting a job, a better job. AD will help you in understanding the other technologies much better, like, cloud computing or DevOps or, cyber security and all the other things. Okay. So I'll share the recorded sessions of my Active Directory videos so that, You can just go through this. And there can be a possibility like, you may get a job on Windows servers on AD. Today, if you go and see the jobs, you will see plenty of jobs available on Active Directory. Right now, 17th March 2025, if you just go and do the survey on the internet, whatever website you are using, you will definitely find many jobs on Active Directory for freshers as well as for, let's say, experienced people. Okay, I just want to explain you why the OS is there. So we know why the OS is there. Now, there are two OS we have, majorly Windows and Linux. So where exactly which OS is more famous? So over the internet, like I said, you friends, Linux is more famous for sure. And within the company, there is some competition there, but still, Linux is having upper hand here as well. So the only thing you can do right now is you can learn both the operating system. See, when I say by using the operating system, we can manage our disk. We can manage our data. We can manage our resources. We can run our applications. Did I mention by using Linux server, we can manage the data, or by using Windows server, we can manage the data? No. I said the operating system major purpose is to do certain activities, certain tasks like, managing resources, running applications, managing data, running your disk and all the other things. This is same for Windows Server operating system as well as for your Linux server operating system. That's a commonality there. That's a common thing between both the operating system. They do the exactly same work. But maybe application runs better on Windows operating system, or maybe majority of application runs better on Linux operating system. Maybe managing the resources is much more easier on Windows operating system. Maybe managing the data is much better on the Linux operating system. So it will be mixed environment. If you go to any medium to big level company, it will be obviously mixed environment. So in your resume, if you mention Linux as well as Windows Server operating system, that these two operating system, literally, my friend, on that particular day only, you're eligible to get a job in approximately 98% companies across the globe. That's a great thing to have, right? 98% companies across the globe can hire you, because 98% companies, approximately 98% companies across the globe, they use Windows or Linux, or I can say Windows and Linux. Okay, so that is what it is, my friend. This is the way it works. Okay, so these are some of the things we need to understand about the operating system. I hope it is clear now what exactly is the operating system. We'll go through this in more details, but as of now, it is just a basic session. So I'm just trying to, put basic things in front of you in a simple and easy way. So there is a hardware, there is the operating system, and there is the application. This is the whole story of the internet. This is the whole story of our computer networks. Okay, so from day one till today, and for many years and decades to come, like I said, as of now, there is no technology where we can simply remove this particular, layer here. We can select, okay, we don't need the operating system. We can directly run the application. That particular day has not yet arrived, and that day will not arrive for sure. Application is designed in certain way. Operating system is designed in certain way. Operating system is designed to interact with your hardware directly. Okay, operating system is designed to interact with your hardware directly. Okay, now let us move and let us see a few more things. See, like I said, there are basically two types of operating systems we have. One is your server operating system here, friends, and the other one is your client operating system. This is a server OS and this is a client OS. So from day one, the day when we started using the computer, actually, maybe in school or maybe somewhere in our home, we started using the computer by using the server operating system. I'm not sure what OS you started using first, but my first operating system was Windows 98. Wow. 25 years before, when I was in school, actually, I started using the computer in school, and there was the operating system known as Windows 98. Then came Windows, after 98, it came Windows Millennium. I'm not sure how many of you remember Windows Millennium. Then came XP. XP was quite famous. After XP, there was something called Vista. Again, I'm not sure how many of you remember Vista, but then came Windows 7. So 98 was very famous. Windows XP was very famous. Windows 7 was very famous. Windows 8 is very famous. Windows 10 and 11 are the current operating systems we have. So when you talk about the client operating system is designed to run on a desktop machine or on a laptop machine. Okay. So I started using 98, but currently we have Windows 10 and Windows 11. Right. These are the two OS we have. Okay, but there are many limitations of the server operating system. See, whenever we talk about the client operating system, normally we directly talk about the Windows 10 or Windows 11 operating system. Great, they are very famous. But you know, friends, there are certain operating systems from Linux which are designed for your desktops and laptops. You know, once you move in your career, let's say as a cybersecurity guy or as a DevOps person or as a, cloud computing administrator at a very senior level, most probably in your laptop or a desktop, you will be using Linux operating system. Okay, the client version of Linux. It's very rare because we are used to the Windows operating system because Windows provides the client operating system in the best way possible. So for that reason, maybe we are used to this Windows operating system, but Linux also offers you the client operating system. But 95 to 98% cases across the globe, we use client operating system as Windows client operating system, either Windows 10 or Windows 11. Okay, but there are many limitations here, my friend. Like the most common limitation here is it serves one user at a time. Means once a person is connected to this operating system, only that person is connected. Multiple people cannot connect to that particular machine. But what is the main advantage of this, client operating system? It allows a user to connect to a server and obtain services. Wow, this is the most important use of your client operating system. What it will do, it will allow us to connect to a server and to obtain services. Means what? It means I can just use my client operating system and I can connect to, let's say, a mail server, or let's say a application server like, let's say, ESPN, cricinfo.com or Twitter, or I can connect to some movie streaming apps like, say, Geo Cinema, let's say Star. Okay, I can connect to something like Google. I can connect to something like, Google Drive. I can connect to my AWS console. I can connect to YouTube and I can watch some videos. So what if in my computer or laptop, there is no Windows 10 and Windows 11, can I access all these applications here? Obviously, no, right? I need to have this operating system to access these applications. Okay, so that is your client OS. But coming to the server OS, server OS is indeed a special operating system, my friend. It is designed in a special way. It is working in a special way. It is working on a special hardware that is called server hardware. Can we directly start using the server operating system? No. Without taking some formal training, actually, you cannot start using the server operating system. We need to get some training. We should know what is there in the server operating system, what are the types of server operating systems are there, what commands we can use, what configurations we can do, what troubleshooting we can use, what troubleshooting we can do, how we can, install certain applications, how we can take backup, how we can do all the other activities that are needed. That particular training we have to take. I'm not sure how many of us has taken the training to use a client operating system. Initially, maybe someone was there who was guiding us, but that's not the official training. But for the server operating system, we need to have some official training because it is a machine where we can run our applications. What are the applications? Remember, web, mail, file, any sort of application. It is running on the server operating system. And the most famous server operating systems are Windows servers or Unix and Linux flavors. What is Unix? What is Linux? Again, that's a different discussion. We will see this. But as of now, this is what it is, my friend. This is your server operating system. Okay. And there are certain server operating systems where there are certain operating systems actually where it will allow only one user at a time. But coming to the server operating system, the great news here is there is no limit hundreds, thousands, or even lakhs of people can connect to the server operating system at once. At the same time, all this number of people can connect. So there are probably many more advantages we have in the server operating system compared to the client operating system. Client operating system is very limited, my friend. Server operating system is obviously very, it is having huge number of features, many advantages and so on and so. But again, who can use a server operating system? A person who have got the training, that person can use a server operating system. So companies today, literally every company is looking for a person who can work on their server. It can be Windows server or it can be Linux server. They are looking for a person who can work on that server and who can manage their servers. Okay. Now, when I say they are looking for a server, they are looking for administrator who can work and manage. Does it mean they are looking for only one person there? No, one administrator is not sufficient. Imagine if there is a company with, let's say, 100 servers. For this 100 servers, probably you need, let's say, 30 to 50 administrators. There will be a team of administrators. One administrator cannot manage. In some cases, maybe it can be less than 30. In some cases, it can be more than 50 also. It depends on the requirement of the company. So what I'm trying to say here is when company says they need an administrator, they're not talking about only one administrator. They're talking about administrators. You will be connected only to one server, and in that server, you will be responsible only for certain tasks. You're not managing the complete server. You will be managing only one or two services or one or two features in that particular server. So to one physical server here or to one server, it can be Windows or Linux, it doesn't matter. So to one server, how many people are connected now? Many people are connected. All these are administrators, and every administrator will perform certain tasks there. It will be quite interesting actually, like, how we can manage a server, what activities we have to do on a server. That is what we will learn in our coming classes. But as of now, this is what this server operating system is all about, my friend. See here, single user, single task. That was past actually. When we started using servers, actually, operating systems way back in 1970s and 80s, it was designed as a single user and single task. Single user, we know very well, like, only one person can connect. What about single task? Single task means the user can execute only one task. He can only open an audio file, that's it. Or he can open only a video file, that's it. Or he can open only a document, that's it. Other things he cannot do. So that was the initial operating system, but it is very soon outdated. Then we got a OS called single user multitask. Okay, one user is connected, but that user can execute multiple tasks. That's okay if it is a client OS. If it is a laptop, single user, multitask is better. But if you talk about servers, multi-user, multitask operating system. So obviously Windows server is a multi-user multitask. Linux server is a multi-user multitask. But again, Linux is having some upper hand in this feature also. What exactly are the differences between, multi-user multitask operating system between Windows and Linux? Again, that's a different discussion. But as of now, here also Linux operating system is having some upper hand. Okay. So these are some of the things we need to remember about your operating system actually. Okay, now moving on. OS can be graphical user interface or command line interface. Can I ask you one question? I hope I'll get an answer in chat box. Can you please tell me the Linux operating system is graphical user interface or command line interface? What you think? You might have some basic knowledge, right? So what is your Linux operating system? GUI or CLI? Okay, I got the answer as command line interface and I got the answer as both. Both is actually a great answer, my friend. Exactly. Both. Linux operating system is famous for CLI. It is famous for commands. But we can configure everything in Linux operating system by using graphics. Coming to the Windows operating system, Windows operating systems are obviously famous for graphics, graphical user interface. We can use our mouse and we can use cursors and we can do the configuration. But my friend, Windows operating system, we can configure everything in commands. That's the difference. Both OS, Windows and Linux, can be configured in GUI as well as CLI. But one is famous in one way. CLI is for Linux and GUI is for the Windows operating system. See, whenever I say Sachin Tendulkar, what exactly comes in our mind? Sachin Tendulkar means the best cricket batsman ever. But Sachin Tendulkar was bowling also. He was a bowler also, right? He used to bowl. But whenever we say Sachin Tendulkar, we just think about, okay, he was a great batsman. That's it. Whenever we think about Linux, we say, okay, it is a CLI operating system. But GUI is also there. And whenever I say GUI about Windows, we just talk about graphics. But it's a CLI also. Okay, no issue. So we'll learn everything in commands only because that is what we will use whenever you talk about the graphic, whenever you talk about the Linux operating system. And normally people are afraid of using Linux operating system because of commands. But my friend, I'll make sure you like or you have fun actually using this Linux operating system commands. This is super easy, my friend. Commands are super easy. The commands what we are learning here are already mentioned inside your Linux operating system. If you enter a command, something like this. I'm just trying to enter one command from the Linux operating system. Let's say fdisk-l. This is one command. If you say the command like this, fdisk-l, alphabets wise, everything is fine. But after F, there is a space I have entered there. Then I said disk. Then it will be incomplete or it will be incorrect command. So when I say F space disk space hyphen space L, it will say invalid command or incorrect command. So command is already there. We are not adding any new command from our side. So we just need to know like what is the command and how to use that particular command. Okay, so learning the Linux operating system will not be difficult for sure. I'll make sure like, learning the operating system practicals are not difficult. Okay, so, okay, we have to see few more things, but I think for this day, this is more than enough. Tomorrow we'll just try to go with like more advanced things about the Linux operating system. And we'll just try to have some discussion about these two gentlemen here, Ken Thompson and Dennis Ritchie. I think we should be very thankful to them for what they have done to the world of the technology. I'm sure most of you know these two people, two gentlemen, Ken Thompson and Dennis Ritchie. So we'll see small history about them hopefully tomorrow. Meanwhile, let me just go to a server. I'll just show you how the Linux server looks actually. Okay, there is a question here. What is the difference between Linux and Unix? That is the question we will address tomorrow, Abhilash. As of now, we don't have any time. We don't have sufficient time actually. So these two people, they are actually the one who have designed the Unix code. From Unix, Linux came. But what is the story? That probably I'll explain you tomorrow. It will take some time. This is one of the big questions that I need to address tomorrow. Like what is the difference between Unix and Linux? Okay, meanwhile, any other question, any other doubt, I'm available for you. I'm done with the session for today. For just a basic introduction session about your operating system, friends. Couple of sessions will be very smooth and very easy, like only basics. And once we are done with all the basics, we'll just try to enter into the, actual. Let me just connect to this. Yeah. So I'm just connecting to the server here, Linux server. How to connect, what I'm doing, that's a different discussion. We'll see at some other time. Done. This is your Linux server, my friend. Okay, so like I said, as of now, it's just a basic session. So in coming sessions like tomorrow and after tomorrow, I'll just try to go a bit more in depth of this operating system. So right now, what you see on your screen, let me just execute the same command, fdisk-l. See, there is some output there, right? There is some output. But if I say f space disk space hyphen space l, what it says, command not found. Such a simple output, right? So we just need to execute the command which is already there. So we should know what is the exact command and what is the purpose of this particular command. And then we should know what exactly we need to see in the output. It's not like, everything is important for us here. No. Everything is not important. Only there are certain things we need to see here actually. Output can be there in one line or output can be there in multiple lines. So if the output is there in multiple lines, we should know what exactly we have to see in that particular output. Done. So this is your Linux operating system. Let me show you one thing here. If I say cat slash etc slash os release. See, this is the command here. Cat slash etc slash os release. Can you see here? It says the name of this operating system is Red Hat Enterprise Linux 9.4 version. When you learn the Linux operating system today with 9 version, that means you're learning the latest operating system. If someone is offering you 7.x version, that means they are offering you the outdated technology. The latest version is 9 version. It can be 9.4, 9.5, 9.3. It can be anything. You just need to start with this 9 version. Okay, and we are learning directly on this Red Hat Enterprise Linux operating system. In coming classes, I will show you how to install it. First of all, how to download the Red Hat version, then how to install and how to do all the other activities. If I say history here, say 1000 commands have already entered in this particular server. So when I say 1000, it means I'm using some commands which are repeated. Can you see here ls-l, ls-l, ls-l. So like this, some commands are repeated. Anyhow, don't worry about all these commands in number. We'll just try to see how we can use them. Okay, there is a question here like which VM I can use for installing the Linux OS. See, right now I'm using something called Oracle VirtualBox. Can you see here? This is your Oracle VirtualBox. So I'm using this because it is a free virtualization tool. I repeat, Oracle VirtualBox is a free virtualization tool. So without, paying anything to anyone and without having the worried of the piracy and everything, we can use this. So this is Oracle VirtualBox 7.0. Maybe there is some latest version available, 7.12, something like this. I'll show you how to download this and how to install it, how to use it. So first we need to download this Oracle VirtualBox, and then we have to download our Linux server operating system, and then we have to use it. Okay, I will not recommend you to go with this VMware. Normally people have this VMware available in their machines because it is more, they feel like it is more easier to use. But no, my friend, there are certain basic settings we have to do in Oracle VirtualBox, and it makes things more easier for us. Coming to this VMware workstation, if you're using the license version, then it's great. But if you're using the free version, it is not free for very long. It is free only for 1 month. After 1 month, it will ask you to pay money. So it's not possible for everyone to pay the money, right? So we have the free option available, that is Oracle VirtualBox. Literally on every administrator computer, you will see this Oracle VirtualBox. Maybe the administrator is working for last 15 years on Linux servers, but still, in their machine, the Oracle VirtualBox will be there because they need to update themselves. They need to, try out new things. So how to do all these things? By using this Oracle VirtualBox. Okay. Fine. Let me just go there meanwhile to this server and let me just power off this server. I am running this server within my Windows machine, within my laptop or desktop. Okay, so I have just shut down the machine here. Job done. My physical machine is still running, but my virtual server is powered off. So how to install this Oracle VirtualBox, how to use it, and how to do all the other activities, that probably we'll see in our tomorrow session. Not tomorrow anyway. Tomorrow we'll see something else. We'll see in the coming sessions. Okay. Great. I'm still here for you, friends. I think most of you are coming from either CCNA package or the AWS package. I can see few names actually which came only today. So yeah, this is the Linux administration and the AWS package. Linux administration we have started today. AWS probably will start next week. Okay. So we'll get more people tomorrow and after tomorrow for sure. So this is a batch that I have started at 7 a.m. So I will not go back with the time. I have to just continue the classes exactly at 7 a.m. India Standard Time. And like I said, AWS batch will be starting soon. And people who are coming in CCNA Linux, CCNA is already going on for them in evening. So this is a Linux for you. So most of the people, they are still not coming in the 7 a.m. batch, the evening CCNA people. They're not comfortable with this time, but still, no issues. We have sufficient number of people. We'll get sufficient number of people tomorrow as well as after tomorrow. So just try to come for at least one more day tomorrow. People who just joined today, the other people, they have already paid the fees, right? Because they are coming package for AWS and Linux or CCNA Linux, so they have already paid the fees. But for the new participants, I just want them to come at least for one more day, so that you know exactly how we are going with the sessions and everything. So if you are comfortable, then only you will take a decision, right? Fees is not a big issue. If fees is something like this for a particular package, it does not mean like you're comfortable with this particular course. You need to be comfortable with the person, with the trainer actually. Okay, but as of now, the fees for this AWS plus the Linux server administration is only 6,999 INR. Fine. I'm still here for you, friends, at least for 30 to 40 seconds, or maybe it can be more if you have any questions. But if not, then we'll stop the session for today. And like I said, every day we'll join exactly at 7 a.m. India Standard Time, and we'll just continue with our sessions at this particular time. I can say one thing with 100% guarantee: if you are planning to pursue your career in any of these fields, like cloud computing, DevOps, cybersecurity, networking, programming, coding, without the Linux server administration knowledge, without the Linux servers, you simply should not start any of the other things. Linux is mandatory for everyone. I am mentioning the coding and the programmers also. If you are a programmer, if you want to become a programmer, Linux is mandatory for you. If you want to go with cloud computing, Linux is mandatory. DevOps, Linux is mandatory. Ethical hacking, cyber security, Linux is mandatory. Linux is indeed the core of our computer networks. Without Linux server administration, it's very hard to imagine someone is working on a technology like cloud or DevOps or cyber security or programmers and all those things. Next 30 days, 35 days, 37 days, if you can just focus on what we are going to learn in the Linux server administration, I can say with this 100% guarantee, it will not be difficult for you to learn everything, my friend. Normally, people are simply afraid of Linux. There is a reason actually, because it's all about commands, or maybe the person, maybe he's not so comfortable with commands and all those things. There's nothing like this, my friend. It's simple and super easy operating system. There are certain logics we need to understand. Always I say one thing. Maybe for me, if I just go to Google and if I say, let me just take one example here. Let's say Chinese language. Wow, this looks like something which I cannot understand, right? But there are 1.5 billion people, close to 1.5 billion people in China who speak this language, who read and write this language. Right? These are only alphabets, but still, they read and write everything there, right? So if I start learning Chinese language today, maybe in next, let's say 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, I can learn it, right? Right now it is difficult, but when I start learning, it is easy. I'm not saying like Linux is so difficult. I'm just trying to explain in a simple way. Normally, people are afraid of Linux because of commands. But my friend, there is nothing to afraid of. We just need to go with the theoretical part. Then we need to go with the practicals. Then, things will look super easy for you. And at the end of this course, you will feel like, okay, now we are ready to grab any latest technology. So finally, before I stop a session, I just want to say one thing. Whatever you're planning to do in future, my friend, maybe you're planning to go for the server administration part. That's great. DevOps, cybersecurity, ethical hacking, programming, whatever. Without learning the Linux administration, do not try to, apply for any jobs, and do not try to go to any other things. Okay. Learn this perfectly. With this, the other things will come to you very easy. Okay. So that's it for the day, friends. Thanks for coming, and hope to see you again tomorrow at same time, 7 a.m. India Standard Time, with more and more details of the Linux server administration. Okay. That's it for the day, friends. Take care. See you tomorrow at same time. Bye.